Hello, I'm Tan the Tambio TC channel, and I want to quickly talk about Game Rant or Game Rant with Shahi Ahmed and his article on the modernizing of Splinter Cell. This article's first off, I hate Game Rant. They've become such a joke nowadays. They're like IGN to me. And second, I don't think everything is bad in this article, but I do think there are some problems, definitely, with some of the things touched on. And what he's talking about modernizing things. So if it's controls and graphics, of course, like they're going to do that. That's already something they're going to do. That's known for most remakes. But what I'm talking about, so here's the good thing that might help from modernizing it. There are some Asian accents in it. I think there's some Chinese levels, though they're very brief. Here's just sticking out everywhere. I gotta brush it. But we know what they mean when they say modernizing. We've seen this with Saints Row and Rings of Power, and look how well those are doing. I know they try making all sorts of articles, and they try saying, "Oh, we're doing well," when really they're not. They're not at all. Frickin' Saints Row became the next Cyberpunk or Fallout 76 of the year, so I don't think that's a good reputation to have. I actually think it's worse than Cyberpunk and Fallout 76 as well, because there's nothing redeemable about it, both in its gameplay and its story and characters, if you can even call it a story and characters. You barely know the characters, they're annoying, and the story is nada. It's nothing. So it could help when it comes to a lot of the Asian actors. They could have some genuinely good Asian actors brought in for those parts. But not only are those short and so few between, but we know what they're going to do. And I know he brings up politicizing, people talking about that. I honestly don't like talking about that crap. But it's more to do with how Tom Clancy's vision for stuff, as well as Tom Clancy's universe works, that might affect. And sadly, we know they're probably going to affect it. But what I mainly want to talk about is modernizing in general. We've seen modernizing with other things. It never makes it timeless. We had Dr. Seuss movies that were modernized, and look how those turned out. I know some of them are looked at as classics in people's eyes, but they're not good. Not good at all. They're freaking awful. Nostalgia Critic and various other YouTubers have already touched on the various amount of flaws to those stupid things. I can at least say Jim Carrey's Grinch is fine. He's at least enjoyable to watch, but other than that, it's still a really stupid movie. And then we've seen modernizing with other things. It never makes it timeless. You actually make less money from it, so I don't know what the point of modernizing something is. They know they're not going to make as much money. They've seen this fail several times in the past, and they're still like, yeah, let's make less money, let's do this anyway. It's like, these guys are persistent in their stupidity. It's not going to work. You're not going to make much money. And Ubisoft does not have a good reputation anyway. They're about to be beaten by CD Projekt Red and their I forget what it's called, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Just the money that they earn, and that their company is building up to. I don't know how to word it. Forget that stuff. I wasn't prepared for that stuff. But yeah, I just think that this isn't gonna work. They're going to ruin character. It's so weird too, because like I'm thinking, like, how are they going to modernize this if it's something like they're going to have the actors like become different races or something? It's like, I don't think they're going to do that, but that doesn't make sense. First off, yes, you're playing a white part Irish man as your main character, yes, but you have a lot of diversity in the other characters. You got Lambert, his old friend and boss, who's black, and you got Anna Grimm's daughter, a woman. You've got enough diversity here, and it's just weird that they have that it's possible they're going to try and do stuff like that, or maybe they'll make the characters be condescending to one another of their race, even though it makes no sense in this context. And then the guy said that he would he said like the story of the agents being captured was cliche. I'm like, this is a remake of an old game. It probably wasn't cliche then and the way they did it doesn't mean that the same exact thing you see today is going to be cliche then or even now, especially if you acknowledge this is a remake of an older game. So if that's the case, if they're changing story aspects like that, then that's not a good thing still, because you're not truly retaining everything, because gameplay isn't just all to Splinter Cell. And who knows, they might even screw up gameplay. I don't know why you're defending this company, this Ubisoft company anyways, with their past and history. I know not every Ubisoft employee is a bad person, but the reputation of Ubisoft in general is not very good, both from some of the accusations of their sexual behavior and such, let's say, and from just the fact that people hate them and their microtransactions in game. They're both affecting the games and the company. And it's like they don't have a good reputation. They don't have a good reputation either way you look at it. And we've seen this modernizing thing. It's not going to work out. Why do you need to modernize shit? Seriously. Why? You're not going to make money from it. Not much, as you would have in the past. I bet the old Splinter Cell games in whole as an entire series make more than your one remake. Yeah, Splinter Cell fans will go for it, and of course if you do make money, that's the only reason, but not for the other reasons that you'll think of, like modernizing the story or the characters. No, that's not the reason they're gonna buy it. They're buying it because it's got the name Splinter Cell on it. Like, if Critical Nobody and me will be doing that just for that reason, then yeah, you'll make money, but not nearly as much. And once people, you know that once you start off doing this game like that, and you decide to do that with the rest of the games, or say you're doing that with the rest, you know you're going to lose money from then. You start out doing good, and then you immediately start falling. Because now people have seen and known what to expect from you. It's kind of like the Star Wars movies. It's like, oh, Force Awakens, then Last Jedi started, we're not gonna be making more money, and then the Rise of Skywalker doing poor on ratings. Uh, so you're just gonna end up in that kind of camp. And I don't think, like, why do you want to modernize something? It doesn't make it timeless. Screw you. Why? You're not making as much money. That's not going to help your case. And it doesn't make it timeless. It doesn't let it last. People are going to talk more about the original Splinter Cell, and they technically have. Like, there's no way you're beating the talk of the original Splinter Cell. And yeah, you're not going to get many people on board for this doing that crap. And hell, at this point, with the glitches I've seen in Ubisoft games, I wouldn't doubt if this game has its fair share of glitches, so Even if all that fails, it's probably going to somehow be a glitchy, awful mess in the end. They also canceled the VR Splinter Cell, which I do want to see a VR Splinter Cell. Freaking Hitman VR is hilarious and awesome. Look at Hitman VR, by the way. That game doesn't try to like super modernize itself for audiences, and that one's such a good freaking series. It's like those people know what they're doing. It has problems, of course, but not the problems in those areas. It's mostly to do with like the online features. They removed co-op. I don't know why. That kind of sucked. I actually liked playing the co-op with my friends and so on. Other than that, I don't like talking about this stuff. I like that some of this stuff to stay out of most of the things I talk about, but I am such a big fan of Splinter Cell. I just felt like I had to talk out. I freaking hate this stuff. It's been ruining everything. It doesn't make it timeless. It doesn't make it last. It's going to be forgotten within a couple of weeks or so. It's definitely not going to last the test of time that something like the other Splinter Cells will. So even if you don't like, even if it's not some of those things, you know they're going to do it in other ways that are stupid. It's either going to be a glitchy mess, they're going to modernize the wrong aspects and make it dated as hell. It is like, just make it a remake of the story of the original. Maybe change some of the actors that feel culturally inappropriate or whatever you say. Have better voice actors for those that feel like, hey, these are genuine and good voice actors. They don't sound racy in how they approach their accents and such. I don't think there's much else though. It's really only the accents of the characters that might be considered that though. So I don't know. I'd have to replay it again to see like what I think. But that's just the thing. Just like the recent like Hocus Pocus movie, people go back to watch the original and realize, just like any Disney movie, it's like the original was better and more timeless. We're gonna go back to that more. People have already forgotten Lion King 2019, other than the fact that it's awful trash. So, do you want to be in that? Uh, do you want to be in that area with your game? Do you want to be the next Lion King 2019? I know that made a lot of money, but frick did it get a really bad reputation afterwards. Yes, they laughed all the way to the bank, but nah. And I don't have hope for Ubisoft at this point. Ubisoft's been kind of disgusting. I know not every Ubisoft employee, once again, is disgusting, not to label them in that same group, of course not. But they should have taken care of this stuff years ago, and the fact that they haven't is just not a good reputation, not good in people's eyes in general, and it's just really stupid. Hopefully they can live up to certain things, but I don't really care for much Ubisoft. Like Skull and Bones got delayed. Honestly, even if it wasn't delayed, I wasn't going to buy it. I don't care. It's not a game I give a crap about. Same with whenever Beyond Good and Evil 2 comes out. I don't care. I might not even buy the remakes of both Prince of Persia and Splinter Cell anyways, since I'm just such an uncaring, I don't care about these new video games mood. I'm just going back and playing the old ones. As a matter of fact, I'm just wondering, like, if the old games are so cheap as they are, and they're trying to make it for modern audiences, why can't a lot of those people, modern audiences, just go buy those really cheap ass games, try them, and they even go on sale several times, so they're even cheaper, and just try them once. They don't have to play like a ton, but they can at least try them through once. Or if they don't like it through all the way, then whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but this is a good time to do that stuff. And I mean, you have plenty of time anyways, because of what games have even come out. We've barely had games. A lot of modern audiences probably already tried those games because they were so bored and needed something to do. It's probably another reason that stuff like Rings of Power would only get the views it does, I guess, even though that's super boring anyways. But at least it's something, I guess, for people to do. But even that's loosely said. So I just don't understand. Like, go buy Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, all of them. Go get just buy them. They're freaking $10. Go buy them digitally or something. Buy them. They're more worth your money than that. Like, frick. Why don't you buy them? They're cheap. And they're good video games. They have proven to people in the test of time that they have lasted the way they have. I know the graphics aren't what you're used to, but maybe once in a while give something else a try. Like, you can complain about the graphics all you want afterwards, but frick, people don't give a crap. Graphics aren't everything. Gameplay is king. Graphics should not be everything. If it is, then shut up. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, this has gone on too long for 15 minutes, 16 now. I'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you think of modernizing Splinter Cell. I think it's dumb. It ruins the reputation in the same way of either the recent Saints Row and Rings of Power, or something like those Dr. Seuss movies that we all know I'm talking about. Frickin' Mike Myers, Cat in the Hat, you know. Frickin' Horton Hears a Who animated movie, frickin' the Lorax, and then it's going to be somehow hypocritical of itself because it's going to be a movie about, it's going to be a game about, like, don't cut down the trees, and then they're going to be advertising all this stuff that destroys trees, like using paper and gas-filled cars and stuff, advertising that. That would be hilarious. So they might even pull that off somehow and be hypocritical with whatever message they try to pull. There's so many ways a modernized Splinter Cell could go wrong. There's even cheap-ass books that are like practically the same price of those old games. Like 6 or so Splinter Cell books. I don't know what to think of Firewall. Like, Sarah Fisher becoming a Splinter Cell just feels wrong somehow, because she was trying to live her own life, but also after what happened in Conviction and such, you would think she'd want nothing to do with that stuff. So, because of how ridiculous it is. But yeah, they make her Splinter Cell, and I'm just like, why couldn't you have another female character Splinter Cell that you develop and have it be its own thing? Why does it have to be Sam's daughter? You have to ruin everything? Like, frick. I haven't read the book, of course, but just the idea of it doesn't really sit with me, and it doesn't make sense. So I'll have to see how this turns out. I don't have much hopes. I don't think it's going to do as well. I think it'll do well just because of the name Splinter Cell, as well as the fact that they know stealth games are dead, and this is probably one of the only stealth games around. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna do well otherwise, and it might just, like, even if it does well like Lion King, is that gonna stop it from getting the terrible reputation of Lion King afterwards? I don't think so. Like, who watches The Lion King 2019 on Disney Plus, for crying out loud? There probably are. I know some little kids that do, but they don't know any better. They probably don't know any better, at least. And neither did the parents. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm sorry this went on. Now it's 20 minutes. I'll see you guys next time. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below. And goodbye.